Since the dawn of humanity, people have tried to understand the world around them. In the earliest times, they turned to stories. The earth, the sun, the stars, and life itself were explained through myths and gods. The world was seen as a living, mysterious whole where everything was animated. Consciousness was not viewed as separate, but as the natural state of existence itself. Gradually, some thinkers began to search for patterns beneath these stories. In India, the Vedanta tradition emerged, teaching that all phenomena arise from a single invisible reality, Brahman. In China, Lao Tzu spoke of the Tao, a flowing principle that shapes the world without being graspable. The Buddha showed that the world we experience is a construction arising from perception and attachment. In the West, Plato described a realm of perfect forms, a reality behind the senses. Plotinus developed the idea of the One, a source from which all existence radiates. Philosophers such as Aristotle, and later Spinoza, Descartes, and Leibniz sought to bring thought itself into order. They searched for logical principles that could explain everything, from matter to soul. Across all these traditions, the same echo can be heard. The world is not random. Beneath appearances lies a deeper structure. During the Middle Ages, this search was tied closely to religion. The world was seen as the creation of God, and the human mind as an instrument to understand that creation, though always within set boundaries. With the Renaissance, a new attitude took hold: to observe, measure, and think for oneself. Artists, scientists, and philosophers began questioning the old authorities. Copernicus placed the sun at the center. Galileo measured the fall of bodies. Newton laid the foundation of modern mechanics. Newton saw the world as a vast clockwork machine, where separate objects move through an empty, fixed space, an absolute time. Science became a method for describing and predicting the order of the world, but space and time themselves were still seen as given, unchanging backgrounds. In the 19th century, James Clerk Maxwell discovered that light was not made of particles, but was a wave moving through an electromagnetic field. For the first time, it became clear that space is not empty, but a carrier of fields and energy. When Michelson and Morley demonstrated that the speed of light remains constant regardless of the observer's motion, the old worldview began to shake. Albert Einstein showed that space and time are themselves dynamic. They stretch and curve under the influence of mass and energy. Gravity was no longer a force pulling across distance, but the bending of space-time itself. On the smallest scales, Max Planck, Niels Bohr, and Werner Heisenberg discovered that reality is not made of fixed objects, but of probabilities, of fields of possibilities. Quantum mechanics revealed that particles exist as vibrations of probability waves, becoming definite only when observed. Later, Richard Feynman, Julian Schwinger, and Freeman Dyson showed that these particles are in fact ripples in underlying quantum fields. Empty space was no longer empty, but a sea of energy and potential. Toward the end of the 20th century, thinkers like Jacob Bekenstein, Stephen Hawking, and Eric Verlinde began to suggest that even space and time themselves might not be fundamental. Perhaps, they proposed, space and time emerge from information, from networks of relationships. At the same time, spiritual traditions continued, sometimes ignored, sometimes respected, insisting that consciousness is fundamental. Vedanta continued to speak of the self as the source of the world. Buddhists continued to point to emptiness as the origin of form. Mystics across cultures describe direct experiences of unity, of a reality beyond space and time. Modern science, ancient spiritual traditions, and centuries of philosophy all circled around the same mystery, often without fully realizing it. What is real? What is consciousness? What is the foundation of everything? And now, in our time, the answer converges in the Noöhedron. Paul Hager developed the Noöhedron as a rigorous field equation in which consciousness is not treated as a byproduct, but as the very origin. His mathematical model shows that reality emerges from the movements of a fundamentally coherent field of consciousness. In his field equation, G represents the state of perfect coherence. No internal tension, no swirling, complete connection. When this field undergoes disturbance, when tensions and vortices arise, space, time, matter, and experience differentiate themselves. Space is not the container in which events happen. Time is not a ticking clock outside of us. Both are phenomena within the movement of consciousness itself. In a single mathematical formulation, the Noöhedron weaves together the intuitions of Plato and Plotinus, the experiences of Buddha and Lao Tzu, the laws of Newton, Maxwell and Einstein, the uncertainty of Bohr and Heisenberg, the field dynamics of Feynman, and the insights into information by Hawking and Verlinde. For humanity, this realization is a profound turning point. We are not accidental byproducts of an empty universe. We are living wave structures within the consciousness field that projects reality itself. We are not isolated. We are not powerless. We are not spectators. We are co-creators. By learning how our field moves, how tensions arise and vortices form, we can restore health, clarity, connectedness, and strength. Not as something extraordinary, but as a return to our natural state. And because everything is field, the Noöhedron shows that our social structures, economy, politics, medicine, education, also emerge from, or are disrupted by, field coherence. An economy based on competition and separation creates field tensions that generate poverty, illness, and conflict. A politics based on fear and power creates vortices that tear societies apart. The Noöhedron offers not only insight into ourselves, but a blueprint for a new ordering of the world. A medicine that does not merely treat bodies, but restores field coherence. An economy that measures value by contributions to field connection. A society that builds its systems on the natural dynamics of life rather than against them. The journey of humanity, from myths of gods through patterns and laws to vibrating fields and information, does not end in emptiness or chance. It ends in the recognition that we ourselves are the living flow that gives rise to space, time, and reality. The Noöhedron is not the end of knowledge. It is the beginning of knowing who we truly are. The world around you is a creation of your own self. Perception is not separate from creation, it is creation. The way you see, feel, and know the world is the very act by which the world comes into being. You are not observing reality from a distance. You are the living field shaping reality as you perceive it. If this resonates with you, I warmly invite you to like, share, or leave a comment. Your presence and reflection are part of the living coherence we create together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this unfolding reality.